Well, since Starman just keeps doing circles around me and doesn't want to pick me up, I guess I can do part 2. What's up world? I'm J-Rated and welcome back to the J-Rated Wisdom TV. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Alright, let's jump to the video. Moon landing conspiracy theory, part 2. Well, since I'm still stuck on the moon, thanks to Starman, and I have so much more to tell you guys, so I decided to do part 2. If you haven't seen my first video on the moon landing, make sure you check it out. A link to the video will be in the descriptions. Well, yes, I have more moon landing hoax claims to show you guys. Could be possible. It kind of looked like they were. What do you guys think? You think they were using wires?
And these are pieces of information that I've discovered which are of peculiar interest to the entire moon hoax culture. Now, I am not the first to suggest there's some sort of Geppetto character in the rafters above pulling the astronauts by some sort of harness with fishing wire. Like, why does Charlie Duke want John Young to push on his head here?
Oops, here I go again. Give me a help. There you go. Okay, just push, start pushing on my head. Give me a hand. Okay, here we go.
So he pushes down on his head and his feet seem to levitate backwards. Now check this out. They appear to be jumping about 5 feet in the air.
We were going to do a bunch of exercise that we had made up as the Lunar Olympics. Show you what a guy could do on the moon with a backpack on. But
for a 380-pound guy, that's pretty good.
They threw that out. Yeah, jump flat-footed, straight in the air. 300, about 4 feet. Wow. Charlie, that ain't any fun, is it? That ain't very smart.
Okay, I don't claim to have found the wires, but I do think I found the attachment to the wires. This is the OPS, Oxygen Purge System. The arrows are pointing at those little bars there. Those bars were originally designed to carry a bag on them, but the only mission they actually used the bag was Apollo 12. And here you can see the strap from the bag attaches to the top of the backpack on that bar. And even though they didn't use that bar for anything else on later missions, the bar remained part of the equipment. What is not part of the equipment and has never been spotted before, as far as my research has revealed, is that there are little tiny rings that hang out of that bar compartment. And I could only spot these in this one clip from Apollo 16 at Station 5. But in this clip you can see them quite clearly, and you can see them dangling, and you can see the shadow that they make. And there is no official explanation for those rings. And this in a mission that has been analyzed to the nines. No technical manual, no internet discussion, no mission report mentions these rings. And if there were wires carrying the astronauts around and making them do all these herky-jerky moments and jump up in the air 5 feet straight and lope around the so-called lunar surface, then the wires were attached to these little rings.
Yeah, I know some of you guys are saying, no, they didn't use any wires, I didn't see anything. But will you believe me if I told you that people claim that NASA astronauts nowadays use harness cables?
Or something. The shot is so clear. Is this a hoax? Are you really in space still?
I don't know. We're going to have to do something for you.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. Watch this.
This is for the skeptics. Actual proof that they use wires.
You look like you're in a studio, maybe in Omaha, Nebraska or something. The shot is so clear. Is this a hoax? Are you really in space still?
Yeah, because the air proves that you're in space.
I don't know, we're gonna have to
Check
do
this.
something for
Check
you.
the man with the stripy top. Look, he grabs the wire above him. Now check the man on the right. With his right arm, he grabs the wire. Did you see it? Now check in slow motion. The man on the right, look at his right arm. He's grabbing him to stabilise him. Then look at the man behind him with the stripy top on. Now he's looking up and he's grabbing the wire. Look, he's looking for the wire to grab it. Yeah. Check that out. He's grabbing the wire there. Look, he's looking up because he sees the wire moving about and he's grabbing it to stabilise it. Look. Now check the man on the right with the USMC t-shirt. Check his arm. Watch this. Check his arm. Look, his arm goes to grab him. Look, but he doesn't grab him. He grabs the wire. Look, there's nothing there, but he's grabbing something and it's tugging his trousers up. And then check him on the left. He looks down to see. Look, he's checking it out himself. Yeah? You wanted proof, you've just got proof there. If you don't accept this, then you are just absolutely brainwashed. This is absolute proof that they are using wires on the space station, or the fake space station.
Now, before we jump to the next moon landing hoax claim, I got a funny clip to show you guys on why using harness cables was a bad idea.
No, dadgummit.
Jack Schmidt having a few problems.
Hang on. Yeah. All right, good show. I told him you were. Well, okay. We see that one went all the way in. Not quite. Boy, do I like to run up here. I feel like Bugs Bunny. That's me. I'll give you a demonstration here, Joe. Roger. Right on here, Joe. Spectacular demonstration. Oh, well. Enough of that. Lovely. What was that a demonstration of, by the way? It started out to be of gravity, and it wound up being of centrifugal force, I think. We concur, John.
Too funny.
Having seen hundreds of rocket firings when I was employed by Rocketdyne, I know that the jet of the Lunar Module lander, the lunar lander, would have created an enormous crater. It would have scoured the moon's surface. It would have tossed up rocks, sand, everything, and created a crater maybe so large that the entire lunar lander could have sunk into it. After all, we're dealing with a 10,000-pound thrust engine, which is pointed directly at the surface, lowered into the surface, and yet, if you look at pictures of the lunar lander on the moon, there is no disturbance whatsoever under the lunar lander's rocket.
The claim goes as follows. Had NASA really landed on the moon, there would be a blast crater. underneath the lunar module to mark its landing. On any video footage or photograph of the landings, no crater is visible, almost as though the module was simply placed there.
We've all been led to believe that on July 20th, 1969, the Lunar Excursion Module, also known as the LEM, carried American astronauts to the surface of the moon. But could it have simply been a prop lowered by wires onto a movie set?
The fact that there's no blast crater under the LEM is one of the most conclusive pieces of evidence that I find supporting the hoax.
In fact, no sign of a blast crater is visible for any of the 6 lunar landings. But LEM specialist Paul Fiel says he can explain why the lunar module left no crater when landing on the moon.
The amount of thrust that you need coming out of the bottom of the descent engine is about 1,500, 2,000 pounds of thrust. And all that does is just push dust away. There's no burning or anything like that.
Yet NASA's own scientific illustrations clearly depict a blast crater.
Then there's one other point. If they had truly landed on the moon, this dust would have then descended on the lunar lander, on the foot pads, and we find not a trace of dust on the footpad.
That's true though. I didn't see any dust anywhere on the lunar module. The surface of the moon is covered in fine lunar dust, and even this doesn't seem to have been displaced in photographic evidence. And on there being no crater under the lunar module, like come on man. It would have created some kind of blast crater. But what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber. Let's jump to the next hoax claim.
One of them is about the footprint on the moon, taken by Apollo 11 astronaut Neil Armstrong, and the claim is that the footprint does not match the boots. As you can see on the left, Neil Armstrong's spacesuit, called the A7LB spacesuit, made in 2015 by astronomer Phil Plait, and the left footprint on the moon. But the problem is the footprint does not match. So, is the claim correct?
Yeah, that's true. They don't match. But wait. How do we know that is Neil Armstrong's suit?
Air and Space Museum trying to save this piece of U.S. history. Do you see it right here? The museum's launched a crowdfunding campaign to conserve and preserve the spacesuit that Neil Armstrong wore on the moon. The Smithsonian's joining with Kickstarter to raise $500,000 to conserve the spacesuit, build a climate-controlled display case, and actually digitize the spacesuit with 3D scanning. Armstrong's spacesuit hasn't been displayed since 2006 because of its deterioration. The museum plans to display it for the 50th anniversary of Armstrong's moonwalk coming up in 2019. If you would like to help out, we've posted a link to the Kickstarter campaign on our website, WRIC.com. Pretty neat.
Yeah, that was his suit alright. Crazy, huh? Well, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. For more videos on the moon landing, please subscribe, hit the notifications button, Also hit that like button. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Peace out, world.